Let me do that. Recording. Cool. All right. Let me get the movie up here. I have the movie on Disney Plus on my other
Okay.
screen. Hopefully we have no issues. All right.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right. I'll set us up here in 3, 2. Hello and welcome back to D5 The Mighty Ducks, the podcast where we're discussing the 1996 Disney hockey sequel, D3 The Mighty Ducks, 5 minutes at a time. We're moving on, my special guest for the week, returning from last season, one of my good friends from the theme park to this, Kyle Crane. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Oh, and my friend.
Yep, we're having issues already.
Oh no.
That's
Okay, let me try again.
Yeah, one more time.
Okay. Blake, it's so good to see you. Thank you for having me back, my friend.
Yeah, welcome back. It's nice to have you here. It's been a while since we've talked. Yeah,
Yes.
for someone,
Yes.
yeah, for someone who was a regular on the Blake Estelle show last year.
I know.
It's weird. Oh man, so welcome on to the show. Let's get started right away here. First of all, D3 The Mighty Ducks. It seems to be a movie that a lot of people either have high feelings about or none at all. Where do you rank with this movie?
Yeah. This is, I think the last, I had never seen this before. And I liked the first Mighty Ducks when I saw it, and I was kind of a fan of this period of Disney movies, like The Big Green, The Mighty Ducks, like these kind of like sports related movies they had around this time. And I guess I'm in the middle. Like I like it. I think it's like a pretty good, like decent sports story, but I don't know if it justifies the legacy of the Mighty Ducks movies. Like I think it could have been anything. I don't want to mean that as an insult, but I'm kind of like, I don't know that it really justifies its existence other than it's just a fun trip with these characters again,
No, it makes sense to me. I mean, what's fun about this is that I actually didn't remember this movie being as good as it is. Like, I'm in that weird boat where I've been saying after weeks now where I watched this movie the first time, getting ready again for the first time in years, getting ready for this. Because I refused to watch this during the first movie. I didn't want to cloud my judgment. And I'm like, oh, this is better than I thought. This is better than I thought it was. Like, yeah. I was not looking forward to this until I started watching it. Like, this is good. So,
yeah. I think sometimes too, having the benefit of watching it at home, as an adult, with nothing going on, just like for a fun evening, it makes it better than kind of like in the theater when you saw it originally too.
Exactly. I did see this in the theaters with my dad, so yeah. I did see it there. So,
okay.
So, yeah, I go back that far with this movie. So here we go. We are actually at the end of our first game, which, to remind people that did not remember this from a couple episodes ago, we are actually at the University of Blake College, that the school they're facing off. They're actually at their university for this game. We actually filmed on location.
Oh wow! Okay.
So that's one of the things we learned a couple episodes ago. So that's pretty cool. We start off with an embarrassing, straight out of the first movie, Goldberg being stuck behind the net goal. Like, this is just flat out embarrassing. Like, what the hell?
It's funny because it's like everybody's older now in this movie, but he's still Goldberg's taking things like Pratt Falls, so kind of the butt end of comedy. I mean, but the way he is a fantastic comedic.
Yeah, this is very true. The one thing I've always had problem with this game, and I brought this up in the last episode, the amount of goals scored in this third period is so ridiculously unrealistic. Like, it's so ridiculous. Especially in like a high school game. Like, this is so ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's exciting, right?
True. Very, very true. We continue to buy the dissension with management because they actually say my youngest boy isn't good enough to play for this team after Goldberg struggles behind the net to get back into the net for this goal. Like, ouch. That one hurts. That was a mistake. What about, okay, I will ask you this. What do you think of Hans actually sitting, listening to the game on the radio, like old school, like I used to listen to Devil's Hockey back in the 90s? He's just sitting there listening to this game by himself. It's like, I'm going to sit here and enjoy
Yeah.
the game. And wow.
It's so funny because I actually used to somebody would pirate broadcast radio wrestling pay-per-views on the radio like that when I was a little kid, and I would not be able to get it on pay-per-views, so I'd listen to it like that, and it's they were so much more disappointing when I saw them as to what I had in my head. But it's kind of like I wonder about the person who has enough free time to sit down and listen to GAV.
Yeah, I think the reason he's sitting and listening because it is his team.
Mhm.
It is the Ducks. Like, he is their guys. And he is he's the reason they have their equipment. Like, come on, he's the reason. I get it. And plus, he's old. He's by himself. But it's just weird. He's just sitting there like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to check out the team.
I was hoping he'd pull up like a sifty of brandy as he was like listening to it.
You know what? I always say that's bad for a Disney movie, but we did earlier have Louise looking up skirts. So you never know. In this movie, like, weird things happen in this movie already at this point. So, like, somebody drinking would not be that far-fetched. We're completely honest here. Oh, man. The Charlie trying to get an empty net goal here was like, really, dude? What are you doing? What are you doing? It heartbreaks. It's a heartbreaker. It reminds me, I was at a game one time in Jersey. John McClane goes for an empty net goal and falls down in mid-skate and like completely misses the net on an empty net goal. It would have been like his like 300th goal or something like that. It was like a big goal. And he just fell down in the middle of the goal. It was such an embarrassment. Like, what is going on?
Oh, that makes the sting of falling down.
Oh my God. And
the emotional sting is almost worse.
So we do have the game tying goal here at the buzzer, which again, completely unrealistic. But hey, whatever, we'll go with it. It's a movie. It's completely unrealistic. 9-9. We end this game. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? Because we were talking about this a couple of shows ago. The Mighty Ducks, the actual franchise, the Mighty Ducks. The season that this movie came out, 2 of their first 3 games were actually 6-6 ties.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So
which is so bizarre.
Maybe not as unreal, but it was still 6-6 and not 9-9. So it's still, yeah.
It's ridiculous that I've been ties. That's a ridiculous game.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I guess the curse of fiction invading reality here.
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of feel Goldberg, by the way, getting frustrated, like hitting the net with his stick. If this was a real game, he would have totally gotten like something for that. Like, there's no reason for that on this workmanlike thing at the end of that game. So
yeah.
We come inside the locker room. Charlie is trying to defend himself. I'm sorry. I'm with them. There is no point to him going for this goal. No point whatsoever. We all went down except Julie. And Julie, to her credit, she didn't actually let down. Everyone else sucked in this game in the third period. Now we have the point. This is where the weird dissension between the teams starts happening.
Yeah.
I don't get this. Like,
it felt very forced. And, you know, I think it's Kenan Thompson gets up and says the thing about, like, I've got a scholarship, and somebody calls him a sellout. It's like, what?
Well, what's weird about it is that they're all on scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're all on scholarship. Like, what are you complaining about? You have a free ride. Like, what are you complaining about?
Yeah. I
get you're frustrated, and I understand this third period went sucky. But, like, what are you frustrated about? Like, what is going on here?
This, by the way, of all the movies and minutes that that one. This is the one that I think I could actually smell the most while I was watching this locker room with them. You know.
Oh, yeah, good point. Good point. What's it? I'm looking at Keenan's like, we're on scholarship. I'm staying. What's so sellout about this sentence? Like, I don't understand what's the sellout part here. Like, they're all here on scholarship. I don't understand. What are we worrying about this for? And it's not the first time this has come up. Like, for some reason, every single time we have an argument in this movie, every single solitary time, Russ has to comment on the fact that it's like, oh, wait. You back?
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Is that better?
Well, it sounds better already.
Okay.
What I was going to say was, you know that meme that's like, no one, absolutely no one. And then it's like, Russ, I'm on scholarship. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Whole movie.
Yeah. It's like, did I bring up as a scholarship, folks? By the way.
I'm on scholarship. I'm from the hood. That seems to be the only two things that Russ talks about this entire movie. It comes up so much. So in comes Coach Orion. This scene, I remember when I was younger, annoyed me. But now, as an adult, I completely understand his point of view. Like, I get it. Like, 100%. He's pissed at them. How long did it take to score a goal? 1 second. True.
Wow.
I've been at many games. It's very, very true. Matter of fact, I went to a Devils game one time where they scored a goal in overtime. In overtime, it is actually a goal that's on all like the 2000 Stanley Cup video.
Mm-hmm.
And, this goal is in there.
Oh wow!
It was one of the most craziest goals I've ever been at. It was in overtime with 16.9 seconds left in the game.
Oh my goodness!
And it was Elias Shakur off the A line scoring. It was one of the best plays I've ever seen, but it was an amazing finish. Like,
so real quick, speaking of live sporting events that are crazy, I wanted to show you something. I found this right before the show started, and I thought this might pique your interest. This right here. Do you know who that is?
Who is that? I'm looking. I'm trying to see who it is. Is that Drew Carey?
That is Drew Carey at the 2001 Royal Rumble, which took place on January 21st. Right now, 20 years ago, while we're recording the show, I took this picture. I thought you'd find that fun.
That is crazy. I was just watching that Rumble recently.
It's a good Rumble, yeah. But
I was just watching that because we're watching old Rumbles recently. I was just watching that Rumble.
20 years ago tonight, yeah.
That's amazing. You were there?
I was, yeah. You can actually see me when Chris Benoit goes to the top of the ladder. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Rewatch that. I'll have to rewatch that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think the show is going to be off the show because it's nothing to do with the show. But I was going to say, if you go to WWE Network, the SmackDown for the 2003 Royal Rumble, the Go Home Show SmackDown, if you turn that on, I am 6th row center, dead center the entire show.
Really?
The entire show.
Oh my gosh.
There's 5 rows, and then there's a hump, and then there's 6th row, and there's me. There's me and my best friend, dead center the entire show.
I'm gonna go check that out. Yeah.
It's SmackDown before the Royal Rumble 2003.
Oh, sweet. I'm gonna go watch it.
It's fantastic. You see the entire show.
It gets distracting after a while, doesn't it? When you see yourself, you're like, okay.
The funny part was, it was a Sunday night taping. It was a Sunday night taping. It was a weird Sunday night taping because it was like time travel we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
The Sunday night taping is usually on a Tuesday. It's not going to air till Thursday. But Raw hasn't happened yet.
Oh, yeah.
But it's different rosters. It was a weird situation. There was this time Velocity also filmed, and that didn't air till Saturday. It was a weird time travel.
And somehow it made more sense than their current product. Yeah.
It really did. But it was a Sunday night. We went to the show. It was me, my best friend, a couple of my best friends, and we were all sitting in the section. The show didn't air till Thursday. It's on UPN.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm getting phone calls because this is pre-cell phones and everything else. I'm getting phone calls from people watching the show.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, how are you answering the phone? This was filmed days ago, dude.
The magic of tape delay. Yeah.
How are you answering the phone if you're at the show? That was funny. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's really funny. Okay, let's get back to this. I have a continuity issue. I have a massive continuity problem in this scene that I never caught until now. Danger of MMX watching a movie. He throws the puck at the board. And then the paper knocks off the hole in the board.
Yeah.
And then we zoom out, and he starts talking to them. And you look at the board, the hole's gone, the paper's back up.
What an amateur outfit the production crew on Mighty Ducks 3 is.
And then he goes back, we turn around, and the hole's back.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing?
Folks, this is why they have interns walking around the sets with Polaroid cameras to catch this kind of stuff. And somebody was asleep at the wheel on this. Completely taken out of the movie. Completely taken out of it.
I never caught that until now. Like, the problem with doing it in this format. Like,
oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of those things. It's like, you're not going to catch that unless you do it in this format.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be able to want to watch that now. Like,
now it means you get to go update the IMDb. That's what it is. It falls on your shoulders. Yeah.
It does. And if you're on IMDb, you can find D5 the Mighty Ducks on IMDb. There you go. Which I spent way too much time putting together these D5 and Like a South Show IMDb pages. Way too much time. Anyway, we move on to our first prank of the movie.
Yes.
Our first prank of the movie, which is weird. Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
They're in the varsity team's watching the game.
Right, yeah.
When did they have the time to come down here and put their clothes in the showers?
I was actually kind of noticed that the water was running the whole time. So I'm thinking that it happened while they were having their argument.
Yeah, it's weird because how did nobody notice this? Like, nobody noticed this. Like, it's such a weird prank that doesn't make any sense continuity-wise in this movie. Like,
yeah.
When did they leave? Did they send one person down there or something? Like, how did nobody know this was going on?
I think you put more thought into it than the writers did. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
And the other thing is, how did they not know? I know they're arguing. How did they not hear the shower running?
Right, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
How big is this locker room?
See, I thought we'd hear the shower running and then it would turn off, and all of a sudden Emilio Estevez would walk out and be like, "Sounds like you guys need some help." You know?
Too early.
Coach Bombay.
He'll be back later.
Yeah.
He'll make his dramatic return later on in the movie. And this, by the way, as you remind me, it's the kids' movie. It says "freshman stink" on the wall.
Yeah.
Despite a lot of shit in this movie that I've been wondering how this is a kids movie.
Yeah.
This is totally a kids movie right now. So I do have a valid question now. How did they get the clothes back after this?
Yeah. So I'm assuming they just had stinking of like BO the entire time.
It's a valid question, right? Like,
yeah.
How did they get out of here? Because they have like 15, 20 minutes to leave. They gotta get changed. Like, what clothes are they leaving in?
There's a whole pneumonia subplot where they left and everybody got sick on the the way home. Yeah.
Oh man. So that's something that happened. That's I never noticed these little things you notice now, and then it's all watching it in this format. Like, what happened here? Like, how did this even work? This work? Because at least when we get to their prank, at least it's explained. Like,
right? Yes. Yeah, we get the full setup and everything. Yeah. They're out of the room. Liquid nitrogen. Well, we don't know how they got the liquid nitrogen, but still,
Yeah, we'll get there. When we get to that, we're back to this weird plot going on in the background of this movie. It's a weird plot. It doesn't make any sense to me why this is going on. And you're not really like, if you're going to do a plot where they can get kicked out of school, it'd be more on the front, not in the background.
Yeah.
It's always in the back. Like, you get kicked out of school. Wait, what? Like, what are we doing? Like, how is this?
Yeah.
It won't get brought up again for a while after that.
That's like high stakes drama. It's a little bit too important to just be kind of like in a yes and.
It's weird. And here's the best part. We bring it up here. We will not hear about this again for like 25 more minutes. Like 25, 30 minutes. We will not hear about this again.
Sloppy. Yeah.
Like, why? It's a great storyline. Like, I get it. It's a great storyline. It's a perfect storyline for this movie. They need some kind of stakes. So let it get brought up again.
Yeah.
For a good half hour.
When I mentioned earlier, this movie, in a lot of places, doesn't really justify its existence. That's the good storyline. I think they should have led with that. Yeah, like you were saying. Yeah,
and the funny part, it gets brought up in the first scene, and then we don't hear about it again until now.
Yeah.
And then we don't hear about it again later. Like, And then they become a massive plot point into their act. Like,
Yeah.
massive storyline. Like,
I can see the studio notes like, okay, every 30 pages we're putting a post-it in says like, bring this plot back and bring this plot back, you know?
so we cut to the good old fashioned liquid nitrogen. By the way, apparently they were able to lug this tank down from chemistry class. Sure. We'll go with it.
Yeah.
I can go with that. I can go with that. It makes as much sense as anything else in this movie. So
Sure. Yeah.
For those wondering, I did look up liquid nitrogen, and I fell asleep reading the page. So I did write down the importance information of what they're doing here. This is negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my God! And they're just handling it with no gloves or anything.
They're wearing hockey gloves.
Oh, hockey gloves. That's right.
To their credit, the detail is there. They're wearing hockey gloves. So negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit. That is insane. Oh my God. So they're apparently going to freeze the lockers and everyone's jackets and clothes because they left their clothes in the shower.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The weirdest revenge ever.
Well, you know, they're up in the stakes. You know, it's like
such a weird.
Yeah.
And they have to mess with banks. This is the first time they're really messing with banks. Like, okay, whatever. We was actually with the conversation a few episodes ago. How is Banks on the varsity squad when he was not even watched by the varsity team earlier in the movie? I never understood that.
Because he needed to be. I don't know.
I don't get it. The only thing, the only headcanon I can think of, and I thought about this a few episodes back, was maybe in the last movie there was a big plot point that got dropped that Banks was being scouted. And then he got hurt, and then we didn't hear about it again. We didn't hear about it again after he got hurt. Maybe it was that scouting that got him on varsity here.
Okay.
That's the headcanon I'm going with. I'm going to go with.
I accept it. It sounds good. Yeah, it makes more sense than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was actually it was a big plot point until they got hurt in the second movie. So this is why he was playing injured.
Yeah.
He was getting scouted. Like that was the whole thing in the second movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's where they found out. And also, he was on 3 championship teams on 3 different teams in Minnesota. And this is based in Minnesota.
Well,
so
okay.
Yeah. He was a Hawk, he was a Duck, he was on Team USA in a matter of like 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
He's a talented guy.
He really is. It's why he's 99 on this team. The reason he's 99 on this team. So we cut inside, and apparently the liquid nitrogen not only freezes everything, but it makes it so that if they touch their jackets, they fall on the ground and shatter.
Yeah, I by the time they got back, I can't buy the science on that it still would have been in that frigid of a state. But I guess they saw, Terminator 2 and were so impressed by the way the T-1000 gets killed in it, they were like, we need that in our movie too.
It's so ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
Like, this is, again, were they playing a game and then they come back out and this is how this is? I don't get it. Like,
it makes for a very cool visual, though, to see the guy slam the locker door and it shatters everywhere. So I'll give him that.
That is a great visual. That is one of the better visuals probably in this whole sequence. Back to the Weird Kids movie, Varsity Sucks Ice.
Sucks ice. It's like, okay. I've never heard that. Yeah.
Who got the ladder to go up there and put that up there?
That's the thing. And it stayed in like perfect like cream shape the whole time. Gravity didn't take any effect. So they must have done that and just like immediately bolted, I think.
Because I'm thinking like in the JV room in the varsity, I can believe they reached up. They're taller than them. So I completely believe that. Here, except for maybe Charlie, no one's tall enough to reach that high. Nobody. Charlie and Bolton. But they weren't there. So like somebody got a ladder and did that. So weird. Oh my God, so weird how they did this little gag.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, so what we're supposed to believe is the JV had their game. The varsity pranked the JV.
Right.
So after they got their whole clothes into it to figure out, varsity had their game. The JV then pranked varsity, and then they left.
Yeah.
It all happened in one day.
They had the time to dry their clothes, to get the liquid nitrogen,
The game was played. Another whole game was played.
Yeah.
because we cut to the next scene, and it's supposed to be later on that day.
Yeah. That's the most active day that those kids have ever had in their lives, probably.
I know. Like, it's just such a weird kind. Like, it just clicked. Like, this is supposed to be on the same day. Like, it's supposed to be at the same time. But the best part is, this whole going on. What the hell was Charlie's mom doing? Unless Charlie didn't know.
Yeah.
Even Charlie didn't know. I can always believe Charlie. They told Charlie, we're going to do this, but your mom's waiting for you. You got to go.
Right, because he's not. Yeah, he's not in the scene. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I don't think I'm talking it out as we're doing it. We're
sure,
talking it out, like. So yeah, that's why Charlie isn't there, because Charlie's gonna go home with his mom because his mom's late for work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would have been established had they shown him driving off in a car, then we could have put two and two together. But here we are, having to walk it out here. Yeah.
The best part is that she drives him here, but he can take the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, she's taking the bus already in this movie, and he's going to take the bus. So it's like,
what was that car ride like? Yeah.
The best part is, what was the car ride like? Because he's yelling at him here.
Yeah. they sat in silence the whole time while Hall & Oates played on the radio, and then now she's like, now we're in public with people around, I'm gonna yell at you.
I'm gonna embarrass you in front of everybody. Yeah. Embarrass me in front of everybody. That's a parent thing to do.
Yes, it is. Now that there's people around, let me tell you something.
Oh my god. So she said she doesn't want him to jeopardize his school like he jeopardized his hockey career. How the hell did he jeopardize his hockey career? Like, because he drew a penalty? Like, I don't understand what she's so mad about. Like, I get this game. The game is weird. And he drew a penalty that led to a power play goal. I get it. And then he did that weird thing at the end with the empty net. But why is she so mad at him? Like, I don't understand.
Career's over, kid. Put up the pads. It's all downhill from here.
It's the first game of the season.
Yeah.
So mad about. Oh my god. So he starts yelling about how how much is playing for him, and she actually says your behavior out there was juvenile. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. He's a kid. So he's 14. We clarified. He said earlier he's 14 years old.
Yeah.
You're kidding? He's 14 years old? I have a 12-year-old downstairs. He's not much more mature than Charlie Conway is in this movie.
Yeah. I don't know what they're expecting from a 14-year-old.
I would say, how do you know he's 14? He did a whole monologue earlier in the movie where he said he's 14.
We've established that fact. Yeah.
I'm not making the age up. It was said in the movie. Like, it was said. Which makes it, they were like 12 in the first movie? They're 11 in the first movie? That's weird.
That's a lot to pack in a couple of years, yeah.
Like, wow, they were like 11 years old in that first movie. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, okay, that makes sense. Sure. Even though, as I've been joking around this entire movie, he's looking like more like Pacey Witter as this movie goes on. He's like more Pacey as he continues on in this movie. You can tell we're only a couple years later from Dawson's Creek, and he looks more Pacey like every single scene of this movie.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Oh my god. So he first mentioning about Coach Orion. This is a great parent scene. This is such a great parenting moment.
Yeah.
She yells at him and says, "You used to feel the same way about Coach Bombay."
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Just putting that in now. Maybe he'll show up later. I don't know.
What a mic drop moment. I mean, that's in there 5 minutes. It's like what a great mic drop moment. Like, parent mic drop. Like, boom. You sit with that and deal with it. Like, deal with this fact that she's right. She's 100% right. He's acting like a baby for no reason. Oh my god. By the way, I'm gonna throw this out to you. I'm asking this question to everybody. When did Charlie become the captain of the Ducks?
Oh God,
the first 2 movies.
Yeah, I was off screen somewhere. Yeah.
We're all trying to figure that. Everyone I'm talking to about it is trying to figure out when the hell, because they make a big stink in making this game that he's been their captain since District 5. He never wore a C in either movie.
Yeah.
It was that, right? Like,
no, that's missed plot point there. Yeah.
But like, it doesn't make any sense if you want the first 2 movies. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, see, it feels in this movie like they're kind of rushing some stuff up to get to something, you know?
Yeah,
just kind of like leaving you to fill in the gaps on everything, which is it's not good to do.
And what's funny about it is because we're doing this, and this is the 3rd movie we've watched, all 3 movies now. That's the one plot point, the most important plot point of this movie. Like the biggest plot point in this movie makes zero sense if you watch all the movies back to back.
Yeah.
One would think that would be caught on. Like,
yeah. They're probably like, well, Luke Skywalker becomes a Jedi off screen before Return of the Jedi, so we can do this, right?
True, but still,
different, but yeah.
As we've clarified in past seasons of the show, it's not Star Wars. Oh, I feel like we've brought that up a lot on the show like a couple of years. This is not Star Wars. All right. That is our 5 minutes in the movie, but that's not where we're done here. We were asking the question, everybody on the show, we're looking for high school stories, fun, crazy high school stories.
Oh, wow.
Kyle, what do you got for us up your sleeve? Because you've had some doozies this season, so far this season.
Oh, man. High school stories. Okay, so here's a good prank, since we had some pranks on this episode.
Go for it.
I cannot say I actually was 100% involved with this, although I saw it happen and stood by. So if any police are listening, we had a teacher who drove a Geo Metro, like a very, very tiny car. And she was a nice lady, but I at one point I think she had just gotten to us one day, and a bunch of the guys, football players and stuff, went to the teacher's parking lot during school and got around it and actually picked up the car and moved it over a few parking spaces, which was incredible to see done. And the whole time I was like, what? Yeah. And but the funny part is it wasn't far enough for it to really register with anybody. I think they wanted to play a prank, like, we're going to move her car, but it was only like 2 or 3 spots over. So like, the funny thing is, I don't think anybody noticed. It's completely ruined, because it was like these guys almost like tore their backs, and like much like the Mighty Ducks here could have jeopardized their entire career of playing sports. But it was funny to see have done, and then in retrospect, as an adult, think about it and be like, oh, she probably just got in her car and didn't even realize it was like 20 feet over from where it was earlier. So. Yeah.
Oh, the funny part, the first thing I thought of when he said they moved the vehicle was the replacements, but they tipped over his truck and the replacements.
Well, it's so funny because you do that kind of stuff as a kid, and you don't think about, like, I mean, somebody could have dropped that on their foot, or it could have or fallen underneath the car and been decapitated or something, and then it wouldn't have been so funny. But
or even think about it as a car owner, something could happen to the car.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You had to pay for the whole thing. Like, that's
absolutely. Yeah.
Like,
listen, and as a former insurance adjuster, that kind of stuff is not covered. Pranks are not covered.
Like, what happened to your car? I don't know. Apparently, it got moved 3 spots, and now it's not starting properly.
I'm sorry. High school pranks are an exclusion under your policy.
See, me and my best friend used to prank each other all the time. It wasn't like that kind of extreme. But we did a bunch of like old school locker pranks because we had each other's locker combinations.
Oh yeah,
We'd share, because my locker was close to classes and his locker was close to my classes, so we swap books. We just do that all the time.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So close, it didn't matter. Yeah. So the two of us started messing with each other. Where we'd like prank it, and we'd have like I actually did the whole like confetti thing to his locker.
Oh.
And then like, but the confetti was like from gums of paper. And I like shredded paper, and it's just like a ridiculous prank to pull off in the locker at high school. It's a really stupid prank where I actually had him set where he opened the door and the paper flew out his face. So he was so pissed for that one. He was so mad at me.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, what was that? Stupid stuff we do. Oh my god. Or like, we'd we put devil stuff on our lockers, devil stands, have devil stuff on our lockers. But like we put like Ranger stuff on top of devil stuff in our lockers. So pissed off. Stuff like that. But like that's the stupid immature stuff we would do.
Yeah.
But we're best friends. Who cares? Like,
yeah.
You had a sense of humor. I had a sense of humor about it, and it was other people that had to deal with our issues because we had they're like, "Oh, we're not after these fools." And I almost started feeling bad about it because I got to know one of the janitors.
Oh no! Yeah.
When I played with the drama club, he was always the late night janitor when we had drama practice. So I got to know the guy. He was a high school alumni, I didn't know any of this stuff.
I bet he's got some great stories for pranks. Yeah.
Oh my god! And so, all right. Well, that's that. This is fun. Well, we'll get the plugs out. Kyle, what would you tell them where they can find you?
You can find all of my goings on at PeleMediaGroup.com. That includes Ghostbusters Minute, Jurassic Park Minute. What else did we do? Goonies Minute, Hocus Pocus Minute, and the current Theme Park This that I do with Brian Green and Scott Corelli. It's a real fun show. With season 2 of that is going to be starting up later this year. So we've got a lot of fun episodes of that lined up, though. So
yeah, I do love that show. Not gonna
Thank
lie,
you.
I love Theme Park This. It's one of my favorite shows that go up.
I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun to do. Thank you for saying that.
It was funny. I think I was listening. What I was listening to where I think it was the Disney Animation Minute, and they shamelessly plugged you guys. So
yeah.
You guys out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Theme Park guys are like, hey, if you want to hear more, listen to Theme Park This over on your channel. I'm like, okay, cool.
I love that. It's like, wow, people are listening. It's a show. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. There have been times I was listening to someone else's podcast. I listened to straight up. I have a lot of people on the Blake and South show, by the way. The Blake and South show. So Friday, right after this show on Friday morning, so listen to the Blake and South show. And on the same podcast platform you're hearing this on. But a lot of times I torch people on the show all the time. I torch people on all the time. And all of a sudden, I'll be listening to like PWT Talk NXT, the NXT show. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, yeah. Blake from the Blake and South show said it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
The reference me out of nowhere because I'm actually become friends with one of the hosts, and we talk. And he shouts me out like in the middle of a show, like out of nowhere.
So awesome.
It's so cool because I don't expect the plugs. I'm getting plugs out of nowhere on the shows. I'm like, what is going on?
It's like catching a picture of like an image of yourself in the background of a wrestling crowd. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, for those wondering, Kyle Crane was the 2020 guest of the year over on the Blake and South show.
Yes.
He was a part of game shows that we did and all this crazy stuff we had going on during the pandemic days, the pandemic over on the Blake and South show, which I'm very proud to say we have never missed a week.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are always delivering, and I'm hoping to get on some in 2021. So fingers are going to be crossed so I can come back on the show at some point. So yeah,
I'm working around schedules. I'm working on it. I'm totally working on it.
Awesome.
We do miss you. We really do.
I miss you guys too. Yeah.
We do plan on getting you back on the show sometime soon because when the show's going up in May, or actually June, this episode's going up in June, and we're like past WrestleMania season and all that kind of stuff. So like we're in the middle of the summer. I gotta check one thing. I actually am trying to make sure I promote the fact that I'm going to be in Disney in June.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Like I already got my trip planned. I'm
awesome.
In June for a week, so it's gonna be great. So
yeah,
we're going to Disney World for a week.
My brother, actually, 2 of my brothers went, and they said that they felt safer in Disney World than they would like going to the grocery store, like for all the protocol they have in place. Yeah.
So we this time I look at my calendar here because I actually have a bunch of notes here. Yeah, this is going up about 2 weeks before my trip. This is the end of May. This is
sweet.
This is going up on Memorial Day weekend. So about 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be Disney World.
Nice, dude. So that's awesome. I'm jealous.
After school ends, we're getting on a plane and going to Florida.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also at that point too, there should be enough of the vaccine rollout that more stuff will be opened, and yeah.
I'm 100% on board with that one. Trust me. In the pro-Biden world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Hey, things couldn't get much worse, so they're going to get better.
100%. As a hospital worker, I 100% agree.
You've seen the worst of it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Especially because I'm in ER all the time.
Oh, man.
So, all right, let me get out of here. I'll just say next week I'm going to have Tim Nidell from Saturday Morning Rewind here as one of our all-star guests coming back next week. So that's exciting. I always look forward to having him on the show. Kyle, thank you so much.
Blake, it's been a pleasure just hanging out, man.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening to the show. We'll see you next week. Have a good day, everybody.